Thank you, Governor, my friend and my brother. Thank you for those kind words. Let me just say to each and every one of you, thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate your hard work to make today's possible. Because you are convinced, you've been moved by what I call the spirit of history. That when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you move. You're inspired to stand up, to speak up, and to speak out. When I was growing up as a young child in rural Alabama during the 40s and the 50s, and see certain things like signs saying white only, colored only, white men, white women, colored women. I've asked my mother, my father, my grandparents. They would say that's the way it is. Don't get in the way. Don't get in trouble. But as an organization and as individuals, you have been inspired to get in trouble, to get in good trouble, necessary trouble. You have been inspired to get in the way. And I want to thank each and every one of you for getting in the way. To help some of our fellow human beings who have been set aside, who have been left out, who have been left behind, who have been discriminated against, who have been told to stay in your place, that we don't have room for you. Tonight, I salute each and every one of you. I grew up in a very large family with 6 brothers and 3 sisters. My oldest brother was deaf, could not speak. He lived and stayed with us each and every day. He was a blessing to us. He was smart. He knew how to take things apart, an automobile, a television, and put it back together. So we must have the power, and you have the power. You have the capacity to see beauty, to see the gift of God Almighty in all human beings. As the governor suggested, we all are brothers and sisters. We who live on this planet, on this little spaceship we call the Earth, must continue to live together and play our role and play it so well that no one else can play it any better. I want to thank you. I don't need to preach to you tonight. The governor knows when I was a young child, I used to preach to chickens. And I think some of those chickens tended to listen to me much better than some of my colleagues listen to me today in the Congress. And some of those chickens were just a little more productive. At least they produce eggs. I tell you, at this time in our country, we need your leadership. We need your vision, your dedication, your commitment. And you need to get in the way. You need to get in good trouble. Continue to organize. Continue to stand up, speak out, and be an advocate for those that have been left out and left behind. It's up to you. There are forces in Washington and other parts of our country trying to cut services for a segment of our society, for the disabled, for our children, for the elderly. You know, Governor, and Mr. Governor, I'm so proud of you. I wish you were still the governor of this state. And Governor, I want to thank you for being you, for being a friend. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for getting in the way. But in a few days back in Washington, we're going to be debating the budget. A budget says something about our values. Do we value all human beings? We all are created in the image of God Almighty. People have a right to be treated like they're children of God Almighty. I happen to believe that we must respect the dignity and the worth of every human being. If we fail to do that, history will not be kind to any of us. Sometimes, you know, when I see things happening, I tell some of my colleagues that we have to find a way to dramatize it, to make it plain, to make it clear. When I first moved to Atlanta, when I was only 23 years old rather, had all of my hair and a few pounds lighter. I became a member of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Father Church. And some days and some Sunday, I would go to the church and I would hear young Martin Luther King Jr. preach. And Daddy King would say, "Make it plain, son, make it plain." What we must continue to do in America today is to make it plain, is to make it real. And sometimes you have to go and do things extraordinary. Some of you no doubt read where we had a sit-in on the floor of the House. More than 100 members occupied the House floor for more than 26 hours, trying to get the Speaker to do something about gun violence. If they brought forth a piece of legislation, we would have passed it, and President Barack Obama would have signed it into law. No one should be left out because of their ability or disabilities. No one should be left out because of their race, their color. We all are human. We all are brothers and sisters. And it doesn't matter whether we are black or white, Latino, Asian American, or Native American. We're one people. We're one family. We all live in the same house, not just American house, but the world house. And as Dr. King said, we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters. If not, we will perish as fools. I know right now we're going through something very strange in America. And sometimes I feel like crying for the nation. And I tell my colleagues, I say, pray for the Constitution. Pray for our country. How did we get here? Where are we going as a nation and as a people? During the past few days, I spent a lot of time with young children, 4 years old, 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, with college students, with some adults. We can learn a great deal from members of the disability community. We can learn a great deal from our children. I truly believe that our children will get us there. They will lead us to a better place. And they will help create the beloved community. They will help redeem the soul of America. I believe that you are helping to pave the road, the path to the building of the beloved community. You're going to help redeem the soul of America, not just the soul of Georgia, the South, but America, and teach each and every one of them a lesson. And I said to you, never give up. Never give in. Never lose that sense of hope. You will have a great victory. And it will be a victory for all humankind. So don't be weary. Don't be down. Don't get lost in the sea of despair. Just keep pushing and keep pulling. It's all going to be okay. Thank you very much.